Hello, everybody. Welcome to Couchsurfers Vlogcast thing. We are going to be reviewing. We just played it. Risk of Rain. It is Risk of Rain.
Chance of weather event.
Yes. Oh dear. If you haven't seen the gameplay, jump back over to my channel because we are on his channel right now.
Hi.
So yeah, gameplay is up on Mondays over on my channel, and we're here on a Wednesday. So, hi, it's Wednesday. If it's not Wednesday, why weren't you here when it was Wednesday? Anyway, links are definitely down below, as always. And yeah.
Sorry, one moment. Well, okay, that's probably better.
Microphone's fixed?
Yep.
Microphone's fixed. Cool. Yeah, but yeah, thank you to everybody that did watch us play. Whatever we played on Monday. Because I don't think we played this.
Probably not.
Yeah. But one thing I did forget to bring up.
Stem page?
Stem page. So, Risk of Rain was done by Hoppo Games and Chucklefish. Interesting name. And when was it released? It was released 9th of November 2013. So it's a fairly old
I
game.
remember playing this game in early access.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Oh, gosh.
Because I was playing it at my first place in the theater room. It was great fun.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
And what consoles is it on? It's just PC and
I think it's on Switch. It came with Risk of Rain 2, which I believe I have up there somewhere.
Yeah, in your bag.
And supports up to 4 players.
Yeah, 4 players. So that's pretty cool. So gameplay.
So this game hits a couple of marks for me personally. I'm a big fan of roguelikes. So I definitely enjoy that part of it. You know, different characters, different items, and building runs and all that kind of stuff. Good lord, though, is it fucking hard.
Mm-hmm.
I played it a lot when it first came out, and I think I got up to the last level or finished it only like 1 or 2 times, which is unusual for me with roguelikes. I'm usually a lot better. So, but yeah, no, good fun. I find it good fun. I find it very confusing and extremely hard to play when it's multiplayer.
Especially when you've only got one character unlocked.
For many reasons, but yes, we'll get into that a bit later.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally quite like the gameplay loop. But yeah, it's super difficult, and if you go into it thinking it's not going to be blow your socks off hard, then you're going to get absolutely fucked.
Yeah, like we played it on easy, and it was still hard as shit.
You got to have quick reflexes. You got to be always moving. You have to know everything about the game before you can get good at it, which is generally the opposite, I think, of most games. So it makes it very, very hard to get used to.
Yeah, because normally you learn games as you play, but this one it's like, yeah, you need to know the game first.
Yes,
it's fun though, but it's very full on, very constant, very, as you said, got to keep moving, can't stop, don't stop, won't stop. Have I quoted something just then?
Yes.
I think I have.
Anyway,
I hate myself, and I didn't even realize it.
Anyway, let's move on to the graphics.
Yeah.
You can go first.
Graphics are interesting. It definitely brings me back to the whole retro sort of style. Not quite Atari, but very much Atari at the same time. It's got that 8-bit feel without it actually being 8-bit at all. It's just, I guess, the sprites are very retro looking. And the background's retro. It's like a side scroller, but it's not a side scroller because it's a roguelike. If that makes any sense. Yeah.
So my personal opinion is, and this is, I've gone over my thought on pixel art before, where it's very hit and miss. You could have 2 exactly the same sprites in 2 different games, and I'll say yes to one and no to another one. The backgrounds and the environments, big thumbs up. Everything else, I personally hate it. Even though I really, really, really like this game, I fucking hate the graphics.
Yeah?
so bad. And I think part of that is that, like, we're playing on a relatively small screen, a 24-inch monitor. When I was playing it, when it first came out, I had it on a 120-inch screen.
Oh, wow.
In my theater room. And that was okay because one pixel was basically the size of your head. But even with the zoom cranked all the way up, I still find it very hard to determine what was what.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. The colors do merge a lot.
Yeah, and you're only like 6 pixels. Even with, we had the zoom, because there's a zoom option, and we had it up to 3 times, which was the highest. That's why the text looked so big. But, like, even then, it was still tiny. Everything, it's really hard to tell what was what in terms of a big cluster of enemies. Or, it was just fucked, and I hate that. So I don't think... Maybe that's what it is. Maybe pixel art doesn't work in really fast-paced games like this, or games with lots of shit on screen at the same time. Maybe that's what my opinion is.
Yeah.
But I personally found it extremely hard to play on a desktop monitor. When it was massive, it was a little bit easier. And I know this sort of comes down to me and my eyesight being quite terrible. But I can't imagine that other people who have normal eyesight don't have this issue as well. Everything just sort of melts into everything else, and it's so hard to determine what's going on, especially in multiplayer when the camera is kind of averaged between you, and you're not the exact center. That makes things even more difficult.
The one other thing I did notice is that when you were battling enemies, the enemies went in front of you, whereas a lot of other games you will be always in the front, so you know exactly where you are. Whereas this, if you were behind 5-6 different enemies, you were fucked. You had no idea what you were doing, where you were going, what way you were facing to shoot what enemy. Yeah,
so I don't know if this is a limitation of... They used Game Maker, I believe, if I remember correctly. But, yeah, it's crap. I hate it. I think Game Maker causes a lot of issues. Probably would run better on the Switch. We should try that at some point. But, yeah, I cannot recommend it for the graphics on this one. It is... I just don't like it.
That's fair. Should we move over to the sound?
Sure.
Alright.
Music's great. The shooty sounds are good. Enemy sounds are pretty fun. I think the sound design is actually a lot better than the graphic design. And once again, I usually don't notice music, but because I have played this quite a bit, I do like the music a lot.
Okay, so I'm going to do an Icarus at the moment. I didn't actually notice the sound at all.
It's hard to notice when there's so much going on. You're concentrating on the action.
Yeah. See, I heard the menu title music. Yeah, it was okay. Didn't mind it. It was pretty cool. But I don't remember it.
Yeah. So I used to play this a lot with Steven, and he would point out the music, and that forced me to actually actively listen to it. So I quite liked it.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, it is hard to sort of, especially in such a fast-paced game like. In a game like Binding of Isaac, the music is front and center, and the gameplay is slow enough that you can get used to the music. But in this, it's quite difficult. What do you think of the theming?
It was okay. The
whole Lost in Space thing, and the weird enemies. I don't think anything kind of fits together.
No, it is very... For lack of a better term, higgledy-piggledy. You've never heard that word before? Okay. To my Kiwi and I think British viewers, they will understand. But it was very much all over the place.
Dog is barking. Yeah, I don't think there was any coherent theme in the game. You got space foxes and flying jellyfish and robots and fireworms, and it's just
this phantom thing that should really be in a horror-based game.
Yeah, so it's like, and I don't mean any disrespect to the game designers here. It's just like they had every design that they've ever come up with, and they just plonked it all in one game. And I personally don't think it works. There is a lava level where if you have the magma worm, which is the fire with the lava worm, whatever, come out, that would make a lot of sense. The first level is a very spacey level, having the Will-o'-the-Wisp, I think, was one of them that we got. That kind of makes sense, but having the fireworm on the space level with the firefoxes. There's no consistency. I don't think it works. I think they have every enemy in every level, and it just sort of muddles things.
Yeah. I definitely think if they had specific enemies per level would be a lot better.
Yeah.
But again, going back to the whole restrictions with the game.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a restriction with game mode. I think number 2 they do it a little better, but I haven't played enough of it to really know. I've only played like 1 or 2 games. I've been a bit lazy, but yeah, we'll see. So, I want to go second for controller support because I have a lot to say. So, do you want to go first?
Yeah, controller support sucks. I know Icarus is going to go into great detail, so I'm not going to say too much. But if you're going to allow controller support and you don't want to use keyboard, don't fucking force us to do shit and you know, spend an extra 10 minutes trying to get the game set up just so the two of us can use controllers. I think it's ridiculous, and I almost said, screw it, let's not do this, because I got bored already, and we hadn't even started the game.
Apologies for the weird noise. The dogs have arrived, and they want pets, and they're sneezing everywhere.
Yeah.
Look, I find the actual controls themselves, like if you're playing with just the controller by yourself, it's great. It works really well. The issue I have is like the issues that we had to actually get the game started. To use 2 controllers without a keyboard, you have to set the players to 3, set the second player to controller 2, and then turn it back to 2 players. So they're obviously able to have it so you don't need a keyboard, but it was a conscious decision, it seems, that the first player, or at least one player, has to have a keyboard. Now, could you imagine, and I'm pretty sure what we did when I first played this in this way was we used like Joy to Key or whatever it was, but if you're playing this in a living room with like Steam Link or on a projector or on a TV or something, you have to have someone with a keyboard and mouse on their lap. And that's awful. Who wants that? Like, even in our setup here, like if he's on his keyboard, he would be sort of front and center, and I'd have to be over here playing like this to get around his fat head. So...
Won't argue with that.
like, it just seems like a strange choice. I don't know if this is Game Maker or not. I don't think it is. But it's just a very, very strange choice that you are forced to have at least one player with the keyboard. It makes 0 sense. And it shits me. Because the controls work fine. Like when we had that little workaround, we had both players using Xbox One controls, and it was fine. The controls themselves are very responsive and work very well. But why, menu designer? Why? Why you do this? I am confusion. America, explain. Anyway, let's talk about multiplayer versus single player. Will I pet this dog some more?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stop. Go away.
I think co-op kind of sucks. I'm going to go straight to it. I haven't played single player, but I do think multiplayer sucks. And going back to what Icarus said before, it's the camera. And you can't really do anything, and then it will carry on following one person, but average out to be in the middle. And if you're above out of screen, you've got to figure out how to get back down without being able to see where you are to get back down.
Yeah, so the first time that happened to us, I'd fallen down enough that I was at the bottom of the screen and he was over the top of the screen, and all it showed was the middle. So neither of us could actually see what was happening. Why? So I've played games, and this is my preferred sort of method. What? The dog wants love. I'm going to just put my foot on her belly. That better? Yeah. Professionals. No interruptions. So there's a method where when you're both on the same screen, or screen's worth of real estate, it's single screen. And when you move off, it splits the screen in half. So if I was to move to the right, it would split the screen off, and I would go off to the right side of the screen, and you would go off to the left, because that's where you were. That's my preferred method. And in this game, I think it definitely needs something like that. To play multiplayer, but on the same screen, in a game where if you're climbing up a rope and you mistime it, you fall down, and it's impossible to get back up. or you'll hit a jump pad and then go flying and then you don't know where you are. It makes it so difficult to play. Especially in an already super difficult game. And I said this a couple of times in the game. You don't want to be... Your main enemy is the camera. And that's the worst thing. Oh, okay, dog.
Good catch.
Hello. And I think that really does ruin the co-op experience. I think if the camera was better, this game would be a lot better. What? She's clawing me to get attention. What?
Anything else for co-op in single player?
I've played the single player like a bit, and the camera obviously isn't an issue. So I think if you wanted to play it... Ow! Jesus! Just really clawed me. What? If you wanted to play a super hard roguelike on your own, this would be fine. If you wanted to play a super hard roguelike with your friends, yeah, maybe not.
I wouldn't.
So I guess that rolls straight into the recommendation. Would you recommend this?
With the experience I've had with co-op, not really.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a game for co-op, and I could only imagine what it would be like with 4 people on the screen.
I've played with 3, and it's fucking hectic.
Yeah?
So hectic. But with single player, like it is... I'm pretty sure the difficulty scales with the amount of players there are, like the health ramps up or the damage ramps up or whatever. So if you're playing a single player, it's going to be as hard, not more hard or less hard. So I think if you wanted a hard as nails roguelike, this is definitely a decent choice if you wanted to play single player. But multiplayer is...
Play at your discretion if it's multiplayer.
Yeah. Unless you're both extremely good at the game, it's going to be a bad time, I think.
Yeah. You're going to have a bad time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's it. What's just happened? Okay.
I think the computer went to sleep. Or the monitor died, one of the two. No, the computer just went to sleep.
Okay, cool.
Or they turned it off.
Yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Links to everything down below. My channel, my Twitch.
My Twitch.
Your Twitch.
I'm on Twitch like maybe once a fortnight or once a week. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, so Mondays, my channel, we do Couch Sofas, the gameplay. Here on Wednesday, we do the review most of the time.
Yeah, it's been a bit flaky recently just because we've both been pretty busy. But
busy and tired.
Busy and tired, so hopefully that sort of mellows out a little bit.
We'll just blame COVID for this.
Yeah, it's COVID's fault.
Yeah.
That I can't record stuff at home where I'm stuck.
Yeah.
As always, if you have a suggestion for a couch co-op game from pretty much any era, let us know. We should actually play some retro stuff.
We should.
Maybe we'll look through the NES and SNES stuff we have and have a look what's there.
Yeah, we couldn't use the game capture though, could we?
Just use emulator.
No, fair.
It's easier.
I was going to say bring the Atari here and connect it up.
I don't know where my fucking Atari is. Buried somewhere.
I think it's in the shed.
Yeah, buried somewhere. For reference, so people on my channel probably know I have a 3x3x2-ish meter shed. There's wall-to-wall boxes full of games. So it's quite difficult to find anything in there, and I don't really want to unpack anything until I'm in my own place again. So
yeah, it took a full day to pack that shed.
Just pack the boxes into the shed, not actually pack the boxes. That took a week or so.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.
Off topic a little bit.
And yeah, links down below. Things. I stream Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. Just going to put a shameless plug out there for this. And we will see you next week.
Bye!
Bye!